What's good, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of The DJ's Take.
I'm Donnie.
And I'm James, and on this show, we talk about the music industry from a fan's point of view. Donnie, what are we getting into today?
So today is going to be one of my favorite topics. We are going to be talking about the greatest 5 boy bands of all time.
The greatest. All right, you want to go from 5 to 1 like we normally do?
So before we go in, I think we need to, I understand there's a universal rule that probably exists somewhere on Google. However, we got to create our qualifications of what a boy band is, because I think there is a difference between a boy band and a group. So, like Boyz II Men being, I don't look at them as a boy band. I look at them as a group. I don't look at Earth, Wind, and Fire as a boy band. I look at them as a group. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we need to establish these rules. So how are we going to qualify it?
I say a group is, I feel like I almost view them as more talented.
A group? You're talking about vocally talented, right? I agree. Because I look at as a boy band as like they have to almost perform a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like they need to do the generic style, lights. You know what I'm saying? It has to be, we got to be presenting something. It can't just be, oh wow, they're vocally gifted. So
and then but at the same time, I could also say like Red Hot Chili Peppers, like that's a band.
That's a band.
So, and they're talented.
So, but that's a band, not a boy band. It would be a band. So that would be like what a Maroon 5 is classified as a Blink 182. I don't think that is.
I will say I'm using in my list. It's everything. It's all encompassing for my personal list.
Okay.
Because technically, if we're speaking facts, it's more than 2. Because 2 is a duo. And then
that's fine. As long as I guess we'll just name ours and then we will discuss more. Man, honestly, it's gonna be hard.
It is hard. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
5? I'll just say 5 and then you go 5. I'm gonna go Maroon 5 for my number 5.
Okay, so you have that actually as a band.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I am probably going to say New Edition. It's my number 5.
This is hard.
Yeah, you probably forgot they even existed.
Crazy. I honestly forgot about the classics because I'm telling you, I view them as not even in the category of because they're
so far. Yeah, I agree. Because Bobby Brown even had his own era by himself. So yeah, but I'm going with New Edition.
There's no take backsies.
No take backsies. Once you say it, it's gone. And the crazy thing is, you think I would have done my homework? It's more like I'm just freestyling off my head. I don't even have a list. So
nah.
I'm going to definitely regret some of my decisions later when I look back.
Honestly, I did that about the singing episode. Can you believe I listed 20 singers and didn't drop Tamar? Honestly, if you haven't checked that episode out, listen to the singers. I can't believe that I did that.
That's how it is.
However,
that's sometimes we all watch the episodes. Did I really just disrespect somebody like that? So
it's ridiculous. All right, number 4, I'm going to go Backstreet Boys.
He's out. You're crazy. You're talking about arguably the greatest boy band of all time and the Backstreet Boys. That's crazy.
You're the one who ruined it for me. They were higher until you just said New Edition. Then I was like,
let me do some mental math.
That's what I was saying. I have to put them at number 4.
So what I'm going to do is NSYNC is going to be my 4.
Okay, NSYNC's my 3. And so let's discuss this. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? Who are the top dogs?
The real ones, no. It's Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys had the greatest run probably of boy band. They broke records. You understand? I think they had, was it them that had $2 million albums?
That was NSYNC.
I think Backstreet Boys did too. I think you're tripping. I think if we looked at, we'll take a look at the data.
I just think NSYNC got it for sure. I just think they got the better lead singer. They got the better dance moves. They got the better bops. I just like them better.
Look up that stat, Tim, for us. Who sold 1 million? And I'm pretty sure it was NSYNC.
In my opinion, I don't think they lasted long enough to have been more than a Backstreet Boys.
Now, you can have an argument with that because Backstreet Boys still were producing modern hits.
Not even still, but it's they were guys. I don't think you understand. Everybody, I want it that way.
But I'm not saying that you're
Shape
crazy.
Of my heart.
I'm not saying you're crazy for thinking that. It's a they're right. You know, they're
Backstreet Boys. They are them. And when you say sing better, Tim, I'm not necessarily sure if I can say that.
You know for a fact they sing better. Stop tripping.
What, NSYNC?
Yes.
So no, Backstreet Boys there's times where they admired so much of Boyz II Men that they were actually singing that type of style, and I don't think I can do that. I'm sorry, I just really can't. I don't really go back and listen to NSYNC songs all the time because Bye 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 is just played out. Let's be real, it's just so played out. We're just over that. So the next one I would say I listen to It's Gonna Be Me, which is dope. And then after that, like I Promise You, and that's about it. And then Gone.
It says NSYNC sold 2.4 million copies of their second album, No Strings Attached, in its first week of release.
Yes.
Yeah, but you got to go. Monstrous. So what I want us to do is we need to go on Google and say albums that sold 1 million, and then it will show you how many.
You did that before in the Taylor Swift versus Beyonce, and they weren't on the list.
Backstreet Boys?
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. I promise.
Were they?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll see. But
we'll go and do the research and we'll drop it.
But I'm just like, when I think of boy bands, I do think of NSYNC. I do think of Backstreet Boys, but it's like NSYNC was so talented. But also, what I do like about Backstreet Boys is it's like with the group Escape. I do like groups where it's like there's not one direct solo star, even though it was obviously
Nick
Carter, but I liked that it was.
But like AJ was a dog, and we all knew AJ was the most talented Backstreet Boy. Like he can dance and he was singing. Just had some problematic issues with other things in life,
which they all did at that time.
Exactly. He was the best singer, but he just. You look at him; he's clearly wasn't marketable.
Yeah, he wasn't like
looks wise, or
that's why Brian and Nick Carter were the people that were usually in the front.
Which shout out to NSYNC, they definitely aged. They aged the best out of the two.
Definitely. But no, Backstreet Boys. I was there for that time period where it was just Backstreet Boy everything, and I'm talking about Disney specials of their concert being on Disney Channel. And me just being in awe. Like they were being their all white outfits and they'd be like, everybody. They were killing it. It was a time to be alive. And I feel bad that kids don't get to witness that type of boy band
which we'll
perfection.
Get to that. What's your number 3 though?
Does the Beatles count as a boy band?
Yes.
So then it would be the Beatles.
So that's your number 3?
Yes, and it's just because isn't necessarily because of I love them. They're the best. It's because you can't argue what they did for boy bands and how great they were for their time period and now in their timeless hits. And they were all savants when it comes to writing and being just musicians. So I just have to put them there. I get props.
It's so hard for me to not be biased. Like I tried to listen to it with my 1950s ears, but it just is. I just can't get with it.
I understand,
but I respect it. Obviously, they're unbelievably huge. Like so.
Pause.
Pause.
No Diddy.
Pause. No Diddy. Yikes. Yeah. I'm on number 2, and I'm gonna go with Jackson 5. Number 2.
We actually finally met on one. The Jackson 5 is my number 2, and it was so hard for me to not put them as number 1 because, of course, it's just. But that's the Michael Jackson effect, anything that has Michael's name on it, you just feel as if he has to be number one. And it's just like I sat there and I went back through all the ABC. It's easy, and and just once you back all that, and I had to go through my number 1, and it was clear that the certified hits were with
Boyz II Men.
That's who you got as number 1?
Yo, you don't act like you don't.
They don't dance.
You don't.
I don't count them as a boy band, but if you have them in there, it's like I wouldn't have disrespect them. Like don't get me wrong, like if Boyz II Men if they were considered a boy band in my eyes, they would be in the top 5. However, I think they're more of a group.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like they're just they come in and they go, we belong together. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not like
I'm putting Boyz II Men. So who do you have number 1?
Backstreet Boys, all day, every day. Look their numbers up. Look at their number 1s. look at what they were doing. Look at their music videos. Look at their choreography. Guys, I went to a Backstreet Boys concert 2 years ago, and my God, they still got it. It is a shame that they have not performed for the Super Bowl yet.
You have the
It should be a felony.
Backstreet Boys as the #1 group of all time.
Not group, get it right. Boy band of all time.
That's Capicola.
No, bro. Just look, you gotta understand. See, you get so, bro.
You're
just
tripping
pull
in
up-
finesse.
Tim,
Tripping.
pull your Apple Music up and just read their top 10, like their list of top 10. I'm telling you. Read it. Go ahead.
I have the Rolling Stone top 5 just to compare to y'all and see how good y'all did. We at number 5 they have NSYNC. Number 4 they have the Jackson 5, Sacrilege.
They're tripping.
At number 3 they have New Kids on the Block.
I was going to put that. They're in my honorable mention, so we'll talk about that. But you go, keep going, Tim.
And then at number 2 they have the Beatles.
Oh, ooh, look at me.
And then at number 1, your boys. They got Backstreet Boys.
Sorry, I got it.
That's just absurd.
I just don't, and I understand, like, there was such a, like, you're the same age as me, but my household, like, my sisters, they were fangirls, so it was like, it was right in front of my eyes. Like, I wanted to be them. You get what I'm saying? Like, me and Garnett stole my sister's CD players listening to Backstreet Boys. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing with the Rolling Stones ones. They put them over the Beatles?
You gotta understand.
Yep.
We gotta understand, like when I say when it comes to the Jackson 5s and the Beatles, like we understand it, we get it. However, they didn't have.
But if the Beatles were still alive, they could tour stadiums. Backstreet Boys is filling up like arenas.
It's not about that. So we're saying is they.
But to me, I think the issue is I think they are separating boy band and group. I think the Beatles are both a boy band and a group.
I agree.
So
with you.
in the genre of boy band, they are below Backstreet Boys. But if you're just talking about straight up group, then they're obviously number 1.
So this is what I say. If you can picture, if you close your eyes, everybody, let's do this real quick. If you close your eyes and you picture a boy band, Backstreet Boys is what comes to
I think
your
of
mind.
NSYNC.
You're saying that because you were more urban and everything's urban. You hate pop in the first place.
What?
Yes, you do. And you go look up the
I don't
Taylor
hate-
Swift episodes if you guys see how much this man hates.
I don't hate pop. Pop was like in my Apple Music replay. It was the top genre.
No, Miguel was. But so you got to understand, they brought every aspect that a boy band was supposed to have. They brought it. They executed it perfectly. I'm telling you, there's no better boy band than the Backstreet Boys.
I just disagree. It's a respectful take. Like, I respect it, but I just disagree.
So-
Especially if you're counting Beatles and that kind
You're
of
tripping.
style. I just don't.
So
see
what
it.
I'm saying
I
is,
don't see
James,
it.
there's
not one record like when like Beyonce or Taylor or Sabrina breaks a record, they don't go, "You broke the Backstreet Boys record." They say, "You broke the Beatles record."
We'll look
That's
at
what
it.
they always
But
do.
this is what I'm saying to you is, see, when you think of the Beatles, this is them. Here comes the sun. That's
No,
what they-
I-
So that's
I'm
what. Listen,
bored.
I'm just saying
I'm
that's
bored.
what they're doing. Backstreet Boys, they were lights, cameras, action, boom, 1, 2, 3. You get what I'm saying? That is the boy band motto. I'm telling you.
I mean, I agree.
Tim, did you go to the top? Go to the top 10 music. Just list. I'm telling you, 10 of them.
Why he does that? Let's do honorary
Honorable
mention. No, we're gonna do not honorary mentions. We're gonna do boy bands that we wish got the clout that they deserved, and then we'll go honorary mentions.
Okay.
So boy bands we wish got the clout that they deserve.
B2K.
I was
So talented. I love them, and it was just, it's crazy.
which
that
they do get, like they get the urban respect. I feel like that they get.
Yeah, they were the downfalls to themselves, egos, people just thinking they were bigger than what they were in the group, and then finding out later that you only get 1 or 2 hits with O and Icebox, and then call it a day. So you should have stuck with the team, and sometimes it pays to stick with the team. Next,
It was good. B5.
B5.
B5. Those who know. They were the great. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
They just had that one. I wouldn't even say one hit. I would say like they had a 6 months run.
Yeah, they were so.
But they were so dope.
It was the name that shall not be named.
Yes.
Who was their manager and the person they were under Bad Boy Records, which was under Bad Boy Diddy. So
yes. So
you can only imagine what happened.
they flopped. And then who's the group? Day 26.
Day 26 was also under
that.
Hey, and Danny B. Kane.
Yeah.
All under Diddy. It's crazy. Diddy would ruin careers. 100% ruin careers. I never understood why Diddy was rich, why anybody signed under Diddy. I had no clue why. This man has showed it. The only thing he really did was Biggie and them when they were in that time frame. Then that's when it was popping. That's before Diddy became Puff Daddy and his head was bigger than the room. You know what I'm saying? But after that, he destroyed anything he touched.
Everything. Danny
Even
Kane.
songs. If that man was on featured on a song, it ruined it.
Danny Kane. And then I'm just gonna run through a bunch of okay, now we can go to honorary mentions.
Honorary mentions. I'm gonna say it right off the bat. They would be number 6, and I could argue in the top 5. One Direction. They were a force to be reckoned with, and their artists that went solo actually had all of them had decent solo.
But I'm
careers.
like they probably danced as much as Boyz II Men that you weren't counting.
But they had that boy band factor. It
Yeah.
was, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, heartthrob, Harry Styles, hair flip back, Zayn is so mysterious. You know, like you gotta.
Yeah, no, I mean they definitely did their thing.
Honestly, Boyz II Men is just way too talented in my opinion to be boy bands. Like they were just they were way too talented. And what I always say is, if you can't really name some of the group members, then you usually know. You know, like in boy bands, oh, Lance, Sanso, so.
I feel like that we have to put BTS up there because they're just rocking.
BTS definitely should be honorary mentions. I don't know. I know people are going to say it's K-pop, but.
What about the Jonas Brothers?
Wow. Well, that was someone I forgot.
So that's pulling at my heartstrings and pulling at the nostalgia of it because, man, they would be in my top 5. But I got to be realistic. I got to go with some numbers, and I also got to understand success. But, yeah, I would definitely say I would love for them to be in there. They should be honorary.
I think I would put them solidly at number 10. I don't know. Definitely top 10.
Yeah, they would be in top 10 maybe. I don't know because there's just...
Because they definitely are a household powerhouse. Longevity too at this point.
Yeah.
Group.
Respect.
Do we think that there is, because I saw Simon Cowell recently say he's on the search for the next generation of boy bands because we haven't had a mega one since One Direction. Do we think that a boy band can come dominate in the way that it did in the past?
Yes, because I think BTS is currently doing it. I think we just have to do it in ways where it's not corny, or we just have to have a boy band who's not just about themselves and have that it factor and make it happen and just put the music above everything else. It can't be about anything else other than the music.
That's the biggest thing that I get annoyed with groups in general is just how you don't see the bigger picture. Every single one that we named except for maybe NSYNC, and then now look at him now, Justin Timberlake. You all are bigger with each other than
it's just,
solo.
It's just,
like we just said, the
there's
Jonas
no
Brothers
reason to just break up. Just say, hey, we're all doing some solo endeavors, but then we'll come back and we'll collab more.
Migos did it beautifully. Yeah. Which are we counting rap groups? I guess that's the thing.
No, I wouldn't say
they're not bands. Because if we start adding rap, then we talking about Outkast, and Dipset, and G Unit.
But all right, guys, let us know in the comments, who are your favorites? Did we miss some? Because every time we do one of these, I'm like, how did we forget this? Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree. But on that note,
I'm Donnie.
And I'm James, and this was another episode of The DJ's Take. Wow, no argument at the end.